you, Pete. Pete, why don't you stay up here? You know the senator so well, so personally. You know better than anyone how much he would love to be here on this beautiful day to experience the unveiling of this glorious memorial with you. But it's my pleasure to represent him, and thank you so much for having me here. On behalf of Senator Bozeman, the Certificate of Congressional Recognition presented to USS Snook Base, Northwest Arkansas, United States Submarine Veterans, on this 13th day of May 2017, for the dedication of the Submarine Memorial at Pea Ridge, Arkansas, the second of its kind erected by USS Snook Base, in tribute to the proud submariners who made the ultimate sacrifice in service to the United States of America. Thank you so much to all of you.
Unfortunately, in the program, it went to print before we received a letter from 3rd District Congressman Steve Womack. But at this time, I'm going to ask Armin Delure, our base secretary, to read the letter from Representative Steve Womack.
Thank you, Pete. This letter was received from Congressman Womack May 13th today, and it reads as follows. Dear Pete, I am honored to provide a few thoughts to be shared with those gathered in recognition of all who died while serving our country as part of the United States Submarine Service. The memorial dedicated in Pea Ridge today, the second submarine memorial erected by the USS Snook Base in Northwest Arkansas, is a fitting tribute to those who made the ultimate sacrifice. Submariners are part of a silent service that possesses some of our country's mightiest weapons and play a critical role in our nation's strategic nuclear deterrent. They operate unseen and unheard, but not unheralded. Memorials like the one dedicated today in Pea Ridge ensure that Arkansans will remember sailors who have served beneath the waves, as well as those currently plying ocean depths. I am honored to serve a district in Congress that actively expresses its appreciation for our men and women in uniform. I congratulate the members of the USS Snook Base for completing this memorial project. Please don't hesitate to contact me if I can ever be of assistance. Warmest regards, Steve Womack, Member of Congress. Thank you.
At this time, I'd like to make a few closing remarks. 3 years ago, at a base meeting, we had a discussion about erecting a submarine memorial utilizing a retired submarine torpedo. At that time, Mike Rainwater stood up and said, I volunteer to be the project chairman for this endeavor. That was 3 years ago. The first year, Mike spent a lot of time looking at prospective sites around Northwest Arkansas. He looked at Rogers, Bella Vista, Bentonville. We even looked at the out at the airport there in Rogers, where they have the airplanes and the helicopter, but we decided that it was probably not appropriate to have a submarine memorial at an airport. So we elected not to have it there. Mike, in the second year, was able to locate a retired Mark 37 torpedo from the Hawthorne Ordnance Museum in Hawthorne, Nevada. And that is the torpedo you see out there this morning in the memorial. Next, we had to figure out how to get an almost 2,000-pound torpedo, minus the warhead, by the way, from Hawthorne, Nevada to Bentonville, Arkansas. We talked to a number of companies in the area, and we finally talked with Vice Admiral. At the time he was Rear Admiral, but he is now Vice Admiral Luke McCullum, who is and I guess still is a employee of Walmart. Talked to Admiral McCullum about possibly having Walmart Transportation deliver the Torpedo from Hawthorne to Bentonville. The next morning, we got a phone call from Walmart Transportation, and the gentleman said, "Where is it, and where do you want it to be delivered?" I asked him to give Mike a call, since he was the project chief. Mike followed up with him, and shortly thereafter, a 53-foot trailer with nothing in it left Redding, California, drove to Hawthorne, Nevada, picked up the Torpedo in its case, and drove that Torpedo with nothing else in the trailer back to Bentonville, Arkansas. We really, really appreciate what Walmart Transportation did for us in this endeavor. The Torpedo was delivered to Bob Morey's Auto Body Shop in Bentonville, where it was stored for almost a year and then refinished in Warhead Green by the body shop employees there at Bob Morey's. I'd like to thank both Bob Morey and his employees, as well as Matt Andrag, for the TIG welding that was required on the cradles that the Torpedo sits on. Also, I didn't know this, but I always thought stainless steel came looking like that. Stainless steel comes not looking like that. It comes very rough and not very shiny. Bob and Mike spent literally hundreds of hours shining those cradles that you see the Torpedo resting on today. In fact, both Bunny and Marilyn were beginning to wonder whether they were still married to Bob and Mike during this process. Some other businesses that I'd like to, and folks I'd like to recognize, and by the way, when we conclude this ceremony this morning, please go up and take a look at the two stanchions, because on the outer side of the stanchion, on the left-hand side, is the donor's honor roll. And on that honor roll are the names of all the companies and individuals that made this memorial possible. On the right-hand stanchion is a description of the Mark 37 Torpedo that was the primary torpedo used in the 1950s by our submarines to shoot at other submarines. After we realized that we could work with the VFW here in Pea Ridge, and we appreciate all the work that Jerry and the VFW here has done and all the help they provided us, Tony Birchie from Birchie Monuments, and Tony, you're out there, please stand up. Tony is the individual who has done all of the fantastic engraving on the marble granites, the ones on the outside with the names on them, and then our two stanchions, and then of course the submarine memorial in the middle. And Tony, thank you very much for the great job you've done and all the help you have been in helping us lay this memorial out. Others who helped us quite a bit, Gray Bar Electric provided all of the electrical fixtures that you see around the memorial here. And what you need to do is come over here some evening when it's dark and see this memorial with it all lit up. You not only see the submarine memorial, but you have at least 4 lights there that will shine up on the flags that are raised on the 3 poles there. It is absolutely beautiful. Wackler Electric provided also the cabling, the conduit that all the wiring went through, and we appreciate that, the work that they did, or the donation they made on that. Tim Costello is out here someplace. Where are you, Tim? There he is right there. He's a fellow bubblehead. But I always kid him. I say he's the owner of the Pea Ridge Neighborhood Market. But he always says, no, I'm the manager. I'm not the owner. Anyway, we appreciate all the help that and support that the Pea Ridge Neighborhood Market gave us as well. We couldn't have done this without the help of the Pea Ridge schools. They donated this land here for the memorial and helped us significantly in moving gravel and dirt, and in fact we were doing all this Thursday afternoon so we could beat the rain Thursday night. So Pea Ridge schools, we thank you as well. Again, I would ask you after the ceremony to go up and take a look at the list of the donors. Not all the names are there yet. There were some that will be added after or shortly, but we needed to get the monument put together first, and there will be some more additional names added to that. At this time, I'd like to ask Snook-based chaplain Bob Andreg to give us a benediction.
Thank you, Pete. First of all, I'd like to add my special thanks to the mayor of Pea Ridge and to all the people in Pea Ridge that have made this happen and come to completion to this point. Thank you very much for all that. Thank you all for taking this opportunity to show our appreciation for the service to our country of so many dedicated men and women in all of our armed forces. You know, from the beginning of human progress, man has always found a way to achieve bigger and better accomplishments than those of the other guy. From a stick, club, or spear, devised first to get food and then to protect his family from harm from a vicious animal or an enemy. We got pretty good at doing all this on land, on the oceans, and in the air. And then somebody got sneaky and decided to deliver his punches from under the water. He tried things like a hand-operated corkscrew drill to make a hole in a wooden ship to sink it, to attaching an explosive device by hand to the hull of a ship, and even various ramming devices. All of these were understandably quite hazardous, if not suicidal, to the people who delivered them. So in the natural progression of our thinking, we devised a way to deliver a punch from a distance. Thus, the Torpedo came into service. Submarines have evolved from a one- or two-man craft to diesel-powered boats that had to surface to get fresh air and had a limited fuel supply, to our modern, sleek, and fast, stealthy, amazing underwater ships that can travel to any place in the oceans of the world without ever having to surface, not even to launch a missile, which is just a highly advanced torpedo that can fly, to any point designated by a highly trained crew of our incredible submarines. As in all branches of our armed forces, trust alone cannot do the job. It requires the dedication, professionalism, support, and teamwork to all branches of our military members working together as a team to keep each other safe and preserve the safety and integrity of our beloved United States of America. This Torpedo Memorial will serve to remind us not only of the role of our sophisticated submarine force, but more importantly, of the all-voluntary dedication of the men and women who so readily commit to help keep our country and ensure the safety of the people of our great nation. This is a reminder to help us reflect upon the ultimate sacrifice paid by all those who have gone on eternal patrol from their service in our submarine force. May God watch over us and enable all of us worldwide to make the right decisions for the betterment of mankind and the preservation of peace in our beautiful world. Thank you all for your support in making all of this possible. May God bless all members of our military, past and present, and may God bless the United States of America.
This concludes the ceremony, the dedication ceremony this morning. I want to thank you all for attending and ask that you come up and take a look at this absolutely beautiful memorial that the VFW and the USS Snook Base have proudly erected here in Pea Ridge, Arkansas. Thank you. Annette would like to have all the veterans that are here come over here and we'll take a group picture. So if you're a veteran, come on up and we'll get a group picture for all of us.